Boy, what a busy live streaming weekend this has been for me. I don't think I ever remember live streaming this much since last year when we all did. A bunch of us got together and did Crisis on Infinite streams. This is a lot. I mean, I was here. I think I was here yesterday, and I was here the other day, and it's something, guys. I'm glad that I'm glad there's people watching and tuning in here today for this. I've been getting a lot of questions from people, a lot of DMs, people asking me to give my thoughts on what's been going on with the Justice League motion comic. What's going on? This is just, and the thing is, I've thought about it now, and I kind of weighed in a little bit, but I didn't want to talk too much about it because, like I was telling Matt from Lightcast yesterday, I'm not privy to a lot of this information. I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing, so I'm trying not to be, too critical or trying to say too much. But I'm going to give a few. But I am going to give a few of my, my takes on this. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm feeling about some of the things I'm seeing on social media, some of the things I'm not seeing on social media, and so on and so forth. But, none of my friends out there in the world that I'm friends with people on all sides of the spectrum, on all sides of the fandom. So nobody has to worry about me coming out here and trashing on people and talking about people negatively, because that's not what I do. Okay, I come out here, I give my opinions, I give my thoughts, and I give my views, and you can take them or leave them, and that's exactly the way that I look at it. And there's some people out there, yeah, they're my friends, and if they're doing things that I think are questionable or bizarre or strange, I'm going to call it out, I'm going to ask about it. But I'm not really going to, trash people, because again, there's things that are going on behind the scenes with this project that a lot of us aren't privy to. And it's important to remember that just because certain things may seem a certain way now, ultimately, when the project is complete and everything is out there, everything may be completely on the up and up. Everything may be completely right and ready to go. And I think that that's an important thing to think about. Yeah, you got to look at things objectively, and you also have to look at things intelligently. It's never a good thing to go in with guns blazing, attacking, even if you see things that you think may be negative, ultimately, when it comes to a certain project or a certain thing. I want to start off by saying simply my first thoughts on the idea of a Justice League motion comic that adapts the early storyboards of Zack Snyder and essentially continues the Snyderverse, I think is an absolutely brilliant idea. I think the plan of basically trying to tell that story the way Zack Snyder intended from a fan perspective is absolutely wonderful. I don't see anything wrong with that idea. I think that idea is super cool. It's a premium idea. And to be honest with you, I used to be a part of the Chicago Shakespeare Theater Company. I used to do Shakespeare. I would love to do some voice acting and maybe voice a character, but nobody came to me about anything. And a lot of these people are my friends, and none of them came to me and said, "Hey, Zod, we're doing this project. Would you like to be a part of it? Would you like to, join us and do something? We're going to be recording for this, and this." And they never came to me about it. The first I heard about it, I saw the little teaser trailer on Lightcast's YouTube page. I saw it, and I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But then something disturbed me. Something disturbed me very, very deeply when I saw that little teaser trailer. I heard Ray Porter's voice, and I started to freak out. I started to worry about these guys, because I was like, my God, man, if you actually are actually going to be using voice actors from the films to come in and voice your motion comic, heaven help you. I got scared. I really got scared because I've seen people, I know people that have worked on a lot. People don't see, this is the thing. People don't know me really. They don't know my background. They don't know where I come from. They don't really know a whole lot about stuff that I was involved in and stuff that I know about, stuff that I do. And I've been involved in a lot of like fan films and things that have existed in the past. I was involved. I was a producer on a fan film a long time ago that came out called Superman Requiem. I was involved with that project. And one of the things that I learned in being involved with that project and being involved in a bunch of other DC fan-related projects is that Warner Brothers, okay, doesn't take too kindly of fans coming in and thinking they can do whatever they want and allowing them to just do whatever project. There's a limit to what any studio is going to tolerate, what any studio is going to allow. And so my first instinct when I heard Ray Porter's voice was like, oh my God, these guys are going to tank themselves. They're going to tank the whole project simply because they're using real voice actors, because Warner Brothers will tolerate a lot of stuff. I think the rule of thumb for Superman Requiem was they could make the film, but the idea was that when you made the film, you could only do certain things, and if you were going to use, you had to get clearance and permission if you wanted to use any actors who are under contract through SAG-AFTRA. And for those who don't know, that's the organization where all the actors in Hollywood movies come from. And when you use a real actor for a fan project, you have to get clearance the same way that you would get clearance for an actor to actually be in an actual film. An actor, the same rules don't apply to an actor as they do for like an everyday Joe. You can do a fan film and you can have anybody you want in the fan film. You just can't have real actors. You start bringing in real actors that are under contract through SAG-AFTRA, they can go after you. They can come after you because that is legitimate. That is you legit. Basically, what they're basically saying by putting out a motion comic that actually has real voice actors, what people are actually saying is, oh, this is legit. This is endorsed by the studio. This is a legit project. You guys are legitimately restoring the Snyderverse without without the acknowledgement of Warner Brothers, without the, basically without the blessing of the studio that owns the content. And that was what my initial reaction was when I heard that. I didn't have any negative things whatsoever to say about the actual idea of doing a motion comic that continues the Snyderverse. I think that's a wonderful idea. In fact, I would take it one step further and even say that why adapt the Zack Snyder's storyboards at all? Why do that? Just create a motion comic of your own. Come up with fan fiction and basically do like your own, like restore the Snyderverse kind of project for the fans, by the fans. Don't have any actors involved. Have it be all fans, because one of the things that I noticed is that there are a lot of massively talented artists, musicians, actors, actresses, all in the Snyder Cut movement. These people are super talented. They're wonderful. You could do a fan project where you don't need Ray Porter. You don't need Ray Fisher. You don't need Ben Affleck. You don't need Henry Cavill. You don't need big names. You could do a fan project where you come in, you do your thing, you do your story. You have these artists outline the whole thing and do it, and you don't even have to, imitate or copy or whatever, however you want to say it. You don't have to imitate anybody else's work. You've got so many talented artists in the movement that could actually do the drawings for a motion comic. And better still, why make it one motion comic? Make it an entire series of motion comics. Give it some time and spread it out and make it something truly unique that encompasses the entire Restore the Snyderverse movement. Include everybody. Reach out to people that basically reach across the aisle. Reach out to people that you normally wouldn't talk to. Reach out to people who you've been at odds with and be like, hey, we want to do this big project. We want to get everybody involved. We want it to be huge. We want to do it as a tribute to Zack Snyder, and we want to show the community that the Snyder Cut community can come together for a big, huge project, and we can do this. We can have voice actors. We can have artists. We've got some talented musicians who can do all the music for the comic, and we can really do it up. It would take a long time. You wouldn't be able to get it out super quickly because these kinds of things are, very slow in development and you have to get people together. But I know from experience, from working on fan films and things, that it's a big thing. It involves a lot of people. It's not something that you can easily accomplish super, super fast. And you have to reach out to a lot of different people. And this is one of the things that so again, like I said, when I heard that teaser trailer, I was just like, my God, I got chills because I'm like, oh no. And and I didn't get chills for the reasons everybody thought. Like I said, I got chills because I was worried, not because, oh my God, that's cool. That's badass. They got Darkseid. No, you don't want to see your friends get burned. You don't want to see people that you love and respect to get hurt by something that could easily be rectified if they just did it a different way. And that's what I saw. That's where my experience came into play. My experience as an actor, my experience as working on board for like a fan film project and that kind of thing. I have a lot of experience, and a lot of people don't know this. They don't know this about me because I don't share it that much and I don't talk about it a whole lot. That was a whole other part of my life. That was a whole other time prior to me getting involved on on YouTube. A lot of this was even before I got involved, before I started doing the ZodWriter show on PSN radio. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is like an evolution, and I kind of got away from a lot of the other projects that I was involved in way back when. I was even on board on another project. I've seen a lot of projects fall through that were fan-made projects simply because they cost a lot of money. You run out of money. And again, because you're not endorsed by the actual studio, there's limitations to what you can do. And you have to have a good working relationship too, because you can get permission. For example, you can get permission from CBS to do a Star Trek fan film, but Star Trek has guidelines that you have to follow to make a fan film. For example, I believe the rule of thumb is you can only make a Star Trek fan film if you make it about 20 minutes in length. And then that's it. They don't want you to make feature-length fan films, and they want you to limit it to a certain number of actors. They have guidelines and things, and for a while, there were a lot of Star Trek fan films that were coming out that actually used real actors, alumnists from the original Star Trek. And it's one of those things when you bring in real actors again, you run into problems. That's when the studio goes after you because, hey, you're using real actors. You're using Gary Graham, who's an accomplished actor from Star Trek Enterprise or Alien Nation. You're using Gary Graham to come in. You're using Tim Russ, who played Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager. You're using, you even got Edward Furlong to come in on one of these films. You got Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek. You got all these actors, alumnus. How are you doing this? It's a fan film. You can't use real actors in a fan film, especially when you're doing it with a licensed property. That's why that was my whole thing. I just got afraid and nervous for them. And like I said, I talked to Lightcast about it, and Lightcast was telling me that everything is going great. And and again, he even agreed, like he even said that if I had questions or I wanted to talk to him, he would hop on one of my streams and I could ask him questions and we could talk about it. I may take him up on that offer at some point if he's available, and we might do that. We might do like a Q&A, and where I talked to him a little bit about it. But coming from the background that I come from and the experience that I've had with this kind of stuff, I feel like I had real reason to be nervous. I had real legitimate concerns and reasons to be concerned for my friends, because I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I realize what their intentions are. I realize what they're trying to do here. I see what they want to do, and I see what the benefits of something like this would be, because I think it's a beautiful concept. But if you do it the right way, this could be the thing that could bridge the gap in the Snyder Cut movement. This could be something that could actually bring people together who really have no interest in being together, are not even on speaking terms. There's a lot of different pockets in the Snyder Cut movement. Okay, we just have to be honest. There's a lot of different pockets. There's people that cannot stand each other. There's people that have grudges against other people for different reasons. Some of the reasons are valid, some of the reasons aren't. Some of the things are crazy, some of the things aren't. It's one of those things where you just look at a project and you look at an idea and you say, my God, if this was done correctly, it could really, really unite a lot of people. But it seems like it's coming from one specific area, from one specific place. And the problem is, when you do something like that and it's targeted only in one specific place, you're not reaching out to everyone, and you're kind of trying to rush it along and trying to do certain things and trying to cut corners. With these kinds of things, you can't cut corners. A project like this could take years if it's done correctly. If it's done, you really can't rush out something like this, especially if you're doing it right and you've actually got people literally drawing the storyboards and the comics and actually coming up with it. Again, if you've got original artists that are working on it, that's going to take some time. The first artist that came to mind when I thought about the motion comic, first person whose name popped into my head right away was Mighty Pegasus. That's the first guy I thought about when I saw this project. I thought, my God, they could get Mighty Pegasus they could commission Mighty Pegasus to draw these panels, to do this motion comic. It doesn't have to be in the art and the style of Jim Lee. You don't have to imitate Jim Lee. You could get you can get artists who are in the Snyder Cut movement to draw and to make it unique. Why imitate some other artist? Why copy some other artist? Why not just do it unique, make it unique, build it from love, not from, oh, I like Jim Lee's art, so we're just going to copy Jim Lee's style for the entire project. It's one of those things where I just feel like there's so many elements that creatively could go into it to make it really, really positive. And again, like I said, I'm not being negative at all. I think, that their hearts are in the right place. I think if you do something like this and you do it right and you do it well, it could go over really, really positively. But you just have to be careful, and you have to do things by the book, especially when you're dealing with a movie studio's intellectual property. And that's really, that's really what my whole thing has been about this entire time. It's like, look, man, I mean, people thought when they asked me my thoughts on this, thought I was going to come out here and just start, blasting and talking crap about people, but that's not what this is about, because you don't blast people who come up with ideas. You basically talk to people and say, hey, you could do this, or you could try to do this, or maybe this will help you, or maybe. So it's like I'm giving a nickel's worth of free advice. I'm trying to give my 2 cents on something that I was not invited to or asked to be a part of. But at the same time, I want to see them succeed. I want it to be successful. I think it's a good thing. I think if you really look at it and you want it and you want to, give tribute to the movement, you want to give tribute to Zack Snyder, you want to basically in effect restore the Snyderverse yourself, and to show, like, when the merger happens, and to show, hey, look, the fans are really hyped up for the Snyderverse. They want the Snyderverse to continue. They put together this little motion comic to demonstrate how much they love it. We're doing it for AFSP, different things. There's so many different areas that you can go into with this and make it wonderful. But I want to get to your comments in the chat. Those are my basic thoughts. There's not, but I mean, I can elaborate on some stuff if you guys have questions or concerns and you want to talk a little bit. But I just wanted to get my basic thoughts out there on this topic, because I just think that you want to see people succeed, and you want it to be positive. But you also are, if you're someone like me, coming from where I come from, you start looking at things analytically, and you start looking at things from a studio perspective, and from a perspective of someone who's been involved with doing fan projects in the past, and that's where that's where it is for me. Katsuka says, well, LOL. Okay, yeah, I think maybe you thought I was coming out here. You thought I was gonna bring some major fire, but I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, because I think the idea is a good one. I really do. Anthony says, what up, Zod? What up, Anthony? Man, I'm glad you're here. It's always good to see you. Anthony says, copying somebody's work, it's not good. They should do their own style. Anthony, this is what I was saying. I think that doing the motion comic in the style of Jim Lee, or basically emulating somebody else's style, isn't really necessary when you have so many talented artists in the Snyder Cut movement who have done amazing artwork and posters and flyers and all kinds of things throughout the course of this. I don't think I've seen so many talented people in one place my entire life when dealing with the Release the Snyder Cut movement. These are some of the most incredibly talented people in the world. I've never seen anything like it. It's beautiful. And that's why I say a motion comic doesn't necessarily have to stick to one particular art style. You could do an anthology of animated shorts and things where you don't necessarily need to emulate one particular style. You can showcase a lot of different styles. There's precedence for that. And I think something like that, I'm in agreement with you. I think something like that would be better than literally emulating the most prolific artist in DC history. You want to try and do something that's going to stand out, that's going to show that, hey, this is unique, this is cool, this is from fans, for fans, by fans, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's going to make Zack Snyder proud, and it's going to make us all proud to be associated with them and to be associated with it. And I think that's like the big thing. And like I said, all these thoughts, just started rushing into my head. Like I say, immediately once I heard the teaser, I'm like, oh my God. Because at first I was kind of hoping that it was an impressionist voice for Darkseid, that it was somebody else that they got, like a fan that can do voiceover impressions, kind of thing like that, to do the voice of Darkseid. I kind of thought maybe that's what they were going for. But when I realized, and it was unmistakable, that it was Ray Porter, that's when I started sweating and all these thoughts started coming to my mind. It was crazy for me when I heard it. I had to do a double take and listen to it a couple of different times. Baby Girl says, hi, Zod. Hi, Baby Girl. Good to see you. Lucas Ironside says, hey, Zod. Arkham Gaming, what's up, man? He says, hey, Zod, doesn't the motion comic, the pictures that we've seen look a little too much like Jim Lee's art? That's called plagiarism, and they could get in a lot of trouble. Do not mess with the great Jim Lee. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know enough about it behind the scenes to make a qualified statement to say that they're plagiarizing. There's a lot of stuff going on online where people are saying that they're tracing stuff and that kind of thing. And I'm trying not to go there, because that's very, very negative. Because when you make accusations and you say, oh, they're plagiarizing Jim Lee, they're doing this, they're doing that, that's kind of definitive when you're making those statements. And once those kind of statements are out there, it's kind of, it puts a really, really, really negative spin on the whole thing. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to go negative, because I think a lot of it is, even if there is some tracing or copying involved, I think a lot of it is more that they want to emulate Jim Lee's artwork for this entire project versus copying everything that Jim Lee does. I don't know. So I don't really want to speculate too much on that. But what I will say is, I think there are a lot of talented artists in the Snyder Cut movement that you could go to who could draw the panels for you, and you don't have to emulate anybody. You could have a unique and distinctive style. Just like I said, when I mentioned Mighty Pegasus, my God, I love Mighty Pegasus. He's amazing. He's incredible. And the reason I bring him up is because he was the guy that won the Zack Snyder's Justice League poster contest. And his artwork is amazing. Everybody in the movement should own at least one t-shirt with Victor's art on it. I mean, it's just to me, I just, when I see these kinds of things, and it's like I feel like if they do nothing but emulate Jim Lee throughout this entire project, it'd be a missed opportunity, because there's so many great artists, and I don't really know, what the logistics of that would be. I don't know how they're going about it. Again, I wasn't asked to be a part of the project, and so I have to continue to reiterate that. So my input, is just me speaking and speculating, the same as all of you. I really, again, and because of that, I don't want to say anything that may be disparaging or negative, because I don't know for sure. So when I talk about it, I just try to outline, my general thoughts on this, and I try to answer your questions as best as possible. But I think the word plagiarism is a little bit harsh, and I hope that that's not the case. I hope there are other plans and there's other ideas and things like that. Like, I used the thumbnail because I thought it was funny, where they, it's like, whenever Warner Brothers or a company takes down a photo of something, I just think that's funny. And I actually I actually saw a piece of artwork today on DeviantArt that I thought was funny. And the caption was, a copy of a copy of a copy. So I used that for the title of today's episode. I just thought that was hilarious. And it seemed oddly appropriate too. Rhea says, good morning, everyone. Hey, Rhea, how are you? Awesome to see you here. It's always a pleasure for me when you show up on my streams. I love seeing you here. Andrew Casali says, Matt said it's inspired, but it's really tracing. I don't know. Andrew, I don't know. I can't really speak on it because I'm not involved in the project. If I was involved in the project, I could say one way or the other definitively, oh yeah, they're tracing. But I can't really say from a definitive standpoint, because everything that I've seen, a lot of the stuff looks similar, but it doesn't look exact. Like, for example, like some of the facial expressions and some of the curvatures and the muscles in certain things look different when put side by side against real Jim Lee artwork. It really, to me, does look more inspired than exactly copied, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't know, because I'm not actually involved in the project officially. I'm off topic. I just hope Zack Snyder can have his original Supergirl, which he has shown us in the Man of Steel prequel comic and hinted in Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, that would be cool. It would be cool to see more of Supergirl and to know, what Zack Snyder's vision for Supergirl was. I mean, I'm all in. You know me, guys. I'm all in for Zack Snyder's vision. So anytime we get to see or hear anything, else connected with Zack Snyder's vision, it's extremely positive as far as I'm concerned. What's up, Zaystro? Good to see you. It's great that you're here. It's great that all of you are here, as usual. Anytime all of you are here, that is awesome. And, again, I want to give a special shout out to Belle Reeve. Belle Reeve is an awesome YouTuber. She's an awesome person. And, she had my back on an issue that some people were kind of ragging on me about over the last couple days. And, Belle Reeve was defending me on her stream. And I will always be forever grateful. Belle Reeve, I love you. You are amazing. Thank you so much for doing what you do and for all that you do. You are incredible. And I really, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. Anytime you need me for any of your streams, or you need me to help you with anything with your streams, or you want to come on my streams, you're always welcome. You are awesome. Baby girl says, I'm afraid WB will shut the motion comic down and go after those involved. That's what I was afraid of. And that's what I don't want to happen. I am so scared because, again, when you start using SAG-AFTRA actors and actresses for these projects, when you have all these fans you could use where you really wouldn't get in trouble, it's like studios are more sympathetic. What I learned from working on Superman Requiem is that studios are more sympathetic to you when your project is mainly a fan project. Okay. Once in a while, you can get away with like throwing in a real actor. Like, for example, I'll give you a Superman Requiem example. For example, we had Jack O'Halloran, I think is his name, the original Non from Richard Donner's Superman movies in Superman Requiem. Now, he's a real actor, and he was actually involved in the Christopher Reeves movies. He played Non, one of the evil Kryptonians, and he was in the movie. But the difference with with him in the movie was he wasn't playing a character that he played from the Christopher Reeve movies. He was playing a completely different character. He had a small role where he did a voiceover at a NASA station. He had a very small role. It wasn't anything major. If I remember correctly, he may or may not have had about 3 seconds of screen time, if he was even on screen. I think we just used his voice for the little bit that he was on for the shuttle scene in Superman Requiem. And you guys could watch the Superman Requiem film on YouTube. I think it's still on YouTube if you guys haven't seen it or haven't heard of it or whatever. But Andrew Casali is, well, they're taking Jim Lee's artwork. Again, from what I understand, Andrew, because the storyboards that Zack Snyder was doing are done, but were done by Jim Lee. They're trying to stay, from what I gathered, they're trying to stay as close to the artwork that you see in the storyboards as possible. And so that would mean that in order to continue to stay, in line with that, you have to emulate Jim Lee. So that's what that looks like. That's what I think the reason for all of that is. That would be what my rationale would be. But again, as I said before, I think that they would be better served having multiple artists come in and all draw with different styles for the motion comic. So you have different styles, you have different things, so that it's unique and that it is literally its own thing. So that nobody can say, and this is where I'm at. And this way, nobody can say you're copying Jim Lee or you're tracing Jim Lee or you're doing this with Jim Lee or Mark Waid or anybody else. They're not going to be able to say that because you're bringing in unique artists and you're letting them draw the panels uniquely. So the artwork is different. It's unique to all those artists. And I feel like that's how it should be. And if I was on board, if I was on board the committee for the project, that would have been something that I would have suggested from Jump Street, that you try to get artists from the Snyder Cut movement that would be interested in participating. But so many people in the Snyder Cut movement have burned bridges with so many other people that it's hard to tell who's on what side, which side is this side, which side is that side. It's hard to tell nowadays because the fandom is so fractured. And I really feel like something like this, if done correctly, could unite everybody again. Honestly, certain people in the fandom always want to talk about us united. Well, there's ways to make that happen. There really is. And I think this motion comic project could go a long way if it was coordinated correctly. The Truth 31 says, "What's up, Zod? What's up, Truth?" Another one, man. Just like me, man. You always come out and you always say what's on your mind. You call out BS when you see it, and you don't care what anybody thinks. And I love that about you, Truth. You are awesome, man. Zaystro says, "I personally think the motion comic is a bad idea. It's too early for something like this." Well, you know what it is? It keeps people thinking. It gets people thinking about it. It keeps the Snyder verse in the consciousness of the public. So if it's done in a positive way, if it's done correctly, it can ignite. It will definitely ignite conversation. I just don't like that it's igniting negative conversation. I don't like hearing things about tracing and plagiarism and that kind of thing. Those kinds of words, when those kinds of words are being used, it's not good for the project or the movement. So what you want to do is you want to avoid that altogether. You don't want to have any discussion whatsoever about that. You don't want people comparing your work side by side with Jim Lee. I'm just saying, you don't want to do that. You want to be as positive as possible. You want to put something out there that people can rally behind, whether you're friends with these people or not, or friends with those people. If something is cool, people are going to say it's cool. If something is great, people are going to admit that it's great. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you really, that's why I say I think it's a brilliant idea, because it's something that everybody can participate in. Everybody has a talent. You get people that, some people have great voices and their voices could be used. Some people are artists and can draw, and their drawing talents can be used. Some people are great musicians and can come up with scores on the fly and are great at finding little cues for things like that. And they can be used. Some people are good at editing and can go in and edit video. And so there's lots of different things and lots of different people you can reach. The Snyder Cut movement, okay, has a pool of talent that is incredible and should always, and that's not anything to sneeze at. You've got people from all over the world that if you come to people and say, "Hey, we're doing this project and we'd like you to participate, and would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to do that?" Just like when Nicotina got everybody together, all the podcasters together back in YouTubers, back for Crisis on Infinite Streams, when he got everybody together, even people that weren't speaking to each other or weren't on good terms with each other, all came together for this one big project. Why'd they all come together? Because it was positive. It was something for Zack Snyder. It was a way to give back, to say, "Hey, we love and we support this and we're all for this." And I honestly feel like this motion comic is something that could, if done in the way that I'm speaking about, could actually do that. But again, it seems like, there's a small group working on it that wants it to be their thing, and it's an individual, little project that they want it to be, and it seems like that's the direction they're going to go, and that's fine too. Whatever people want to do, however people want to express themselves. But I'm just saying about how I would have gone about it if I was on the committee for that project. Koopy Malik says, "Hello all." Hello, Koopy Malik. Good to see you as always. Jacob McKenzie, he says, "The art community is pissed that they are copying Jim Lee work, which that's terrible. The whole point of the whole thing is the motion comic, and this is just like I said, just from my perspective, the way I'm seeing it is the motion comic is based off of the storyboards that Jim Lee drew for Zack Snyder. So the reason why they're using Jim Lee artwork or emulating Jim Lee artwork or imitating Jim Lee artwork or copying Jim Lee artwork, however you want to say it, is because that's the same artwork that was used for the actual storyboards. I really honestly think that that's what it is. I don't think that there's any ill intent here as far as, emulating Jim Lee or trying to copy other artists' work. I understand where you can be up in arms over it if you are an artist and you're working and you're seeing your work being copied or traced. But to me, that remains to be seen, and we won't know until the actual motion comic comes out what's actually used, what actually wasn't used, what was traced, what wasn't. I'm sure that when the motion comic comes out, this is why I feel like people need to calm down and understand that when the motion comic comes out, we'll see. We'll be able to see we'll be able to see what they were doing. We'll be able to see how much of it is Jim Lee, how much of it is original, how much of it is this, how much of it is that. It's all I'm saying is, if they dot their I's and cross their T's, nobody will have anything to complain about by the time it comes out. It could turn out to be a beautiful thing. We don't know. And that's why I think jumping the gun right now is not really a good look. You don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to necessarily attack the people working on the project, but I could see where that could come from, because again, people are going to be offended if you're a legitimate artist and you're seeing your work being plagiarized by somebody else, and that is not a good thing. But I really don't think that that's their intention. I don't think they're doing this out of malice and out of the fact that they want to plagiarize anything. I think the whole idea is that they want to tell another story by continuing the Snyderverse in the form of a motion comic. It's fan fiction any way you look at it. So you just gotta, unless they've got actual scripts from Zack Snyder himself, anything that they do, it's going to be fan fiction anyway. So that's why I don't understand why they don't have other artists who are involved in the Snyder Cut movement doing the panels and stuff. Maybe they do. For all we know, they may have other artists working on panels and things, and we just haven't seen any of that material yet. That's a possibility too. Like I said, it's hard to really speculate and to talk about things that's like this. That's why I say cooler heads need to prevail until we actually see what we see what comes out, because you don't want to be negative, and you don't want to come at things prematurely, because you never know. You never know. At the end of the day, when this thing comes out, it could have all original artwork. It could be just like what I was talking about. They'd be like, they could say, well, ZodWriter was right. We listened, we liked that idea, but that was an idea that we had all along, and we commissioned this artist and that artist, and they came in and did panels and did this. You never know. It's a possibility. So it's hard to, it's just hard. You got to be careful when you accuse people of plagiarism and things like that. Those are very lofty accusations, and you don't want to go down that road, because you could be mistaken. You could be wrong. There's a lot of artists out there that are just very, very good at emulating another artist's style, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're copying the work. They're just doing their own interpretation of said work. So it's a slippery slope, I guess, would be the easiest way to say it. Zaystro says it's all fan fiction anyways, because it's not the legit Justice League 2 and 3 Zach has now. I don't think that's the intention either. I don't think the intention is to, usurp Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. I think this is just something that they want to do, that they think would be nice and could be cool. You know what I mean? Any little project that continues the Snyderverse in some way has potential to be one of the coolest things you'll ever see. And that's just the truth. You know, you gotta try to you got to try to look at things objectively and even hope for the best. I mean, some people out there may not like these guys, may not agree with what they're doing, and may think that they're doing it for the wrong reasons. And that's another thing that's out there, that, maybe they're doing it. Some people have said that they're clout chasing or whatever, or they're doing this or doing that, and they're not doing it for the right reasons, and they're just using AFSP and all these different things. And I don't know. I feel like a project like that, takes a lot of time and effort, and you don't put a lot of time and effort into things that you're just throwing together, just trying to get noticed. No, if you really are passionate about something and you care about something, that's when you put time, thought, and energy, and you put your love into it, and you put a part of yourself into it. I don't think anybody, if you're out there clout chasing, is going to go to all this trouble and take all these risks. Like I said, that's where I got kind of nervous. Like I said, when I heard Ray Porter's voice, because I'm like, that's not dotting your I and crossing your T there. You got Ray Porter. He's an actual actor. He's a voice actor too. He's very, very well known. Ray Porter has been doing audiobooks for decades. He's a very prolific voice actor. There's a reason why Zack Snyder put him in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And using him as Darkseid for this motion comic might be a little bit crossing the line. I don't know. There's so many different ways you can look at it, but like I told you, it made me nervous. Kupi Malik says Ray Porter's involvement is not necessary, in my opinion. It could spell trouble for the man, especially with this type of climate between the studio and the fans. You just hit it right on the head, Kupi Malik. It's not like Warner Brothers is exactly the warmest studio. It's not like Warner Brothers embraces their fans and loves their fans. We know for a fact Warner Brothers does not like Snyder Cut, does not like Snyder Cut fandom, does not like us. We know that. And again, that's another reason why it's like you got the Star Trek red alert sound going off in your head and you got the red alert sign flashing when you hear Ray Porter's voice on a fan project, and his voice is actually the voice of Darkseid. It is, man. I'm telling you, my head was pounding. I heard the red alert. I could see it. My eyes, I was seeing the red alert. I'm like, oh my God, please tell me that they got the okay to use Ray Porter for this project, because you put out a project like this without the studio's okay, you have Ray Porter, you're going to have all kinds of trouble. But we don't know. They could have gotten permission somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what they would have had to have done to get that permission. I know that when we were doing Superman Requiem, the being able to get permission for certain things was very, very difficult. I will say that. Okay. And I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details and all the stuff it took to make that movie happen. But suffice it to say, anytime you're using real actors, you have another major hurdle that is even bigger than all the other stuff. Blue Arrow says, Zod Comics, I found you on Robert Burnett's channel after the stream you did. Love the content. Keep it up, bro. Oh, Blue Arrow. Yeah, I've seen you a few times on Robert Meyer Burnett's channel. Robert's a good friend of mine. I've been friends with Robert for years. I think he's awesome. We do have plans to do another live stream together in the future. We're gonna make it a charity stream. I don't know when we're gonna do it, but it's something that we're gonna be working on. So definitely keep a lookout for that. Robert's a great guy. Zaystro says, it wouldn't surprise me if WB does some copyright shit where it could get taken down similarly to what Disney has done to a bunch of Star Wars fan projects like the Vader fan film. Hello? For real. That you again hit the nail on the head. And you know what the ironic part about all that is? Back before Disney acquired Star Wars, Lucasfilm was all about fan films. George Lucas himself encouraged fans. Let me say this again. George Lucas himself encouraged fans to make fan films. And not only did George Lucas himself encourage fans to make fan films, every year he held a fan film contest with prizes and everything. Listen. This is what happens when you have big corporations like this owning these properties. It's ridiculous. I don't know how you can even do anything. I'd be scared to death to do anything like what they're doing. Again, like with real actors, it's crazy. Like I got a friend of mine, Wyatt Weed. He is an actor and a filmmaker himself. He's an independent filmmaker. Wyatt did a fan film for The Dark Knight Returns. Very wonderful fan film. You can still find it on YouTube, and I interviewed him about it a couple years back on my ZodWriter show podcast when I was over at PSN Radio. And Wyatt, talked a lot about that kind of thing, about when you do a fan film, about what it takes to get to be able to do it, and you have to stay within the limitations that the guidelines that the studio presents you with. There's a lot of fan films that come out about Batman and Superman and all that stuff. But see, these people that do these fan films know the rules. They know what they can do and what they can't do. And one of the things that you see a lot of times is that you will rarely see SAG-AFTRA actors and actresses in fan films. There's a reason. There's a reason why you might never see, Michael Caine or Jeremy Irons or Christian Bale pop up in a fan film, because they're actors. They're paid actors that when they're in films, when they're in any kind of project like that, it's under contract. You have to draw up a contract for any actor. Even if you're not paying the actor, you have to draw up a contract for that actor to appear in anything they do. So even if you do like a fan film where they got a small role, like there was a team of guys I knew back in the day, they were doing a fan film, a DC Comics fan film where they wanted to have Dean Cain come in as Shazam. And they had it all drawn up. They had a contract and everything. If Dean Cain would have agreed to be in that film, he would have had to sign this contract, and he would have had to have gotten permission from SAG-AFTRA to be in this film. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of things you got to go through to get a real actor to be approved to be in certain things. And I think it would have been cool. He would have been playing Shazam, not Superman like he played in Lois and Clark. They had cast him as Shazam, and they had cast I can't remember the actor that they had cast for Superman. I think it was Clark Bertram, the guy that played Superman in Sandy Colera's World's Finest. I think. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. There's a couple of different actors who have played Superman in fan films that I don't know. It would have been cool. But the point I was trying to make, I got off track for a minute there. The point I was trying to make was, it would have been a big deal to get an actor, even someone like Dean Cain right now, who's not really in a whole lot of things at this time. If you get him, it's still a lot to go through, and it still would have been difficult. But with this motion comic, it's like not only is it Ray Porter, but it's Ray Porter playing Darkseid. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Andrew Casale makes an amazing point here. He says they took down the Batman 89 fan game demo too. Yes. And that video game looked amazing. You could, all the hours and hours and hours of work that went into that game demo, all the time and effort and planning that went into it. My God, that thing looked beautiful. I was hyped up for it and excited too. And again, I didn't know how they were doing it with Warner Brothers being the way they are today. Warner Brothers is not in a giving mood when it comes to DC fans, especially Snyder fans. So when you, that's what I say. I mean, you talk about poking the bear. That's all I'm saying, man. It's like, don't give them a reason to come after you when they already hate the ground you walk on and are wishing you dead every day. Don't give them a reason, and that's my whole issue. Like you can do this another way where you don't poke the bear. You can make a motion comic, and you can use all the fans you want to do the voices. You can use fan art. You can use fan voice actors, fan music, fan. That's the key word, fan. And it'll be just looked at as a tribute, as another fan-made project, whatever. Those fan-made projects are a dime a dozen. They come out all the time. But when you start, start trying to make it super, industry quality authentic, that's when you start running into problems. Baby Girl said, I also was afraid for Ray Porter. WB will definitely use this against him and Zach. Yeah. That there's also those implications too, baby girl. Koopy Malik says, Zod, they did a somewhat full feature film with Star Trek of Gods and Men with some of the real actors, also Star Trek Renegades. Well, not a full 1 hour. Yeah, but again, there were negotiations that were made when they made Of Gods and Men. James Cawley, the guy who played Captain Kirk for many years with the Star Trek, I believe, what was it called? Star Trek New Voyages, I think it was called. And then it was later, and then they later changed the name to Star Trek Phase 2. That actor had a working relationship with CBS Paramount because he created a replica of the original bridge set from the 1960s Star Trek. So he had a working relationship with Paramount. So one of the reasons he was allowed to do those kinds of films and to use actual Star Trek alumnists later on was because he was able to get permission. But those actors and actresses all still had to sign special contracts to be in those productions. You still have to go through the proper channels. You have to get permission from the studio when you do that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they shut you down immediately. Star Trek Renegades didn't have a very good fate, Koopy Malik, because what happened with Star Trek Renegades, CBS started cracking down on Star Trek. I believe right after Robert Meyer Burnett and Alec Peters and a couple other people were working on a Star Trek fan film that was going to be incredible, was going to be the Star Trek fan film of all Star Trek fan films, Axanar. And the whole controversy behind Axanar was that this was going to be a feature film quality fan film that actually featured real SAG-AFTRA actors. You had Gary Graham coming back, reprising his role as the Vulcan from Star Trek Enterprise. You even had a young General Chang from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, who was going to be in this film. This film was going to be amazing. They even had Robert Hatch, I think his name is, from the original Battlestar Galactica, Hatch, playing a Klingon in this film. The thing is, Axanar was produced so professionally and was so high quality. CBS got worried because they're producing Star Trek Discovery, this super huge thing that's costing them all this money, right? They got Star Trek Discovery. They're pumping it out. It's not headed at that time. It was headed towards its second season, or I don't even know if the first season was even out yet at the time of Axanar. But the thing is, when they released, the team working on Axanar released the first the mockumentary trailer or promo for it, Prelude to Axanar. That's when CBS dropped the hammer and said, nope. You know why? Because it rivaled what professionals were doing, because you had actual professionals working on this movie. You had professional cinematographer, you had a professional director in Robert Meyer Burnett. You had people in the industry, you had actors, actresses. This thing was fantastic looking. I still cry over Axanar to this day because as a lifelong Star Trek fan, Axanar was going to be the jam. It was going to be the best thing since the original Star Trek episodes. And so what happened with Renegades was what I like to call the Axanar effect. Because once they threw the hammer down on Axanar, then they went after Renegades. And the first episode of Renegades came out was a feature film. I think it was about 80 minutes in length, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little shorter. But it had real actors in it. It had Star Trek alumnus reprising their roles. You had Walter Koenig, who played the original Chekhov. You had Uhura. You had Robert Picardo, who played the Doctor in Star Trek Voyager, excuse me. You had Jake, the actor who played Jake Sisko from Deep Space Nine. You had all these Star Trek alumnus who came back to be in this and to reprise roles that they actually. You even had what was his name, Beltran, who played Chakotay in Star Trek Voyager. He actually came back and reprised his role as Chakotay for this film. It was unbelievable that they were able to get him to come back. But and they got Edward Furlong from Terminator to come in. The thing is, Axanar was so well produced that the Axanar effect knocked Renegades off its square. And now you got a second. Then when they came back to follow up the Renegade story, Kupi Malik, and the Renegade story, they told the second part. They eventually finished up the Renegade story. But here's the caveat. They had to take out all of the Star Trek references. So imagine Zack Snyder following up Zack Snyder's Justice League with a movie with all new characters, but somehow continuing that story without referencing anything DC. You feel me? That's what they did. And Renegades, I don't know how they did. I don't know how they pulled it off, but somehow they were able to complete their story and remove all the Star Trek references. They still had all their actors. They still had all their sets and things. They changed things around, made the uniforms look a little different, made the insignias a little different. The weapons were different, the ships. They tried to un-Star Trek Renegades. And I'm not going to say that it worked for them because I'm not really a big fan of how it ended. But I got to give them all the credit in the world for marching forward and doing it without the studio giving them their blessing and just making it something else. That's a remarkable story, Kupi Malik, and I don't know, and there's a reason why there probably won't be any more Renegades at this point. But of Gods and Men, they had the blessing of the studio to do that film because of James Cawley and Tim Russ's working relationships with CBS, and that's how they were able to accomplish that. Some random says Matt from Lightcast and all of them keep moving the goalpost. First, it was 100% original art. Then it was inspired. Now it's traced. First, it was a fan film. Then Lightcast said in a stream, it's not. Well, I mean, it's got to be a fan project. It's a fan project of some sort, unless, and this is the thing, unless now it's an actual independent, professionally produced project. But then it's not a fan project anymore. If it's an independently, so in other words, it would be like if DC Comics commissioned Lightcast and this crew to do a motion comic for the Snyderverse, and they allowed them to use the actors, the actresses, and so on. But then it would be an official product. Then it becomes an official product. It's just licensed through them, licensed to them to use those characters and those ideas from the actual studio. That would be the difference. That's the only way it goes from being a fan project, because the only other thing you could call it then would be an independent project where they have to where they actually do get the rights, are granted the rights, and are able to do the project. Other than that, it's a fan project. There's nothing else it can be, because then if it's not considered a fan project and you do it anyway, and it's an independent project and you don't get the rights, then the studio comes after you, lays the smackdown, and sues you into oblivion. That's what happens. It's just the reality of life. That's what they do. That's what happens. These studios will protect their intellectual properties at all costs. It's no joke. That's, like I said, that's why my first initial thoughts were being nervous as hell about this, because you don't want to have those kinds of problems. You don't want to have legal issues. They're not doing this to make money. They're doing it for AFSP, and they're doing it for to spread some more stuff out about the Snyderverse, right? So again, the last thing you want to do is put out something that's going to tick the studio off and get them to shut you down. And that was what I was most concerned with. Resident Justice says, what's up, Zod? What's up, RJ? How you doing, my man? He says, it's a bit concerning. I will agree. I am friends with some of the people involved, and I know they're coming from a good place and want to do something positive, but they need to be very careful. That's exactly what I've said, RJ. That's exactly my thing. I don't think for a minute that they're coming from a malicious point of view. I think it's all just something that they want to do a good thing. And as I outlined at the top of this stream, you can do that. There's ways you can do the same idea that they have, and you can include, by and large, a good portion of the Snyder Cut fandom by making it a fan thing. You can have a lot of, because again, there's a lot of talented people. Let me once again say that there's a lot of talented people in the Snyderverse movement. Tons and tons of talented people. And we all have different skill sets. And that's exactly, the whole thing. You tap in to this vast fandom that you have access to, and you probably wouldn't have anything to worry about. You don't have to use real actors. You can use people in the movement. Some random says, all of these content creators said this is to help restore the Snyderverse. How? All that effort could have been used to campaign, to demand accountability over entertainment, to demand racist execs to step down. This is for clout. That's an interesting take. Let's stop and talk about that for a moment. I think I addressed it a little bit earlier, where the only opposition that I have to somebody saying that they're doing it for clout is because this is not an easy task. This is not something that you can just throw together. This is something that's going to take a lot of effort, This is something that you really gotta, I mean, there's a lot of work ahead of them. They're not going to be able to get this out in 2 weeks. This is something that's going to take time. This is something that is going to have to be well developed and polished. And I that's why I say, going back to what RJ was saying, it's got to be coming from a good place to get people to donate their time to do this, to do the artwork, to do the music, to get Ray Porter to come in and voice Darkseid. You have to have some sort of mechanism in there for this project. There had to have been some sort of committee and planning that goes into these kinds of things. For me, if you're doing it for clout, it's just something you're whipping together and throwing out there just to get attention. And you're doing it very, very fast, and you're not thinking about anything, and you're just putting it out there to hope that it garners positive results. But I think here there's a little bit more into it than that. I mean, clout might be part of the reason. I don't know. I mean, aren't we all looking for a little bit of clout here and there? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. For me, it was never about anything. To me, I always feel like it's about Zach. It's about the Snyderverse. It's about the friendships and connections that, we've made over the years, getting to know each other and connecting with people. That's why I say I'm hesitant to ever crap on a project that somebody's doing, because I know that a lot of work goes into these kinds of things. I've been there. I've been involved in projects like this, and you have to do, you have so much you have to do. You have so much you have to think about. You have a lot that goes into it. I don't know if it's just for clout. You can put out any number of things that may garner you clout. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really, it's really a complex thing, and you don't want to, and again, you don't want to trash on people because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know exactly what their position is. So you try to keep an open mind and kind of look at things, kind of watch it, and kind of, send messages to your friends and say, hey, guys, I don't know, is everything okay with this? And like I said, I messaged Lightcast yesterday and I asked him flat out. I said, is everything okay? And he said everything's going great. So hopefully they're doing all those things. Hopefully they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's, and they know what they're doing, and they've looked into all the legal elements, and they've got Ray Porter's contract and everybody else who's a professional actor that they're using. Their contracts are locked down. I don't know. Lucas Ironside says they should do their own thing. I think they can have legal problems later down the. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I think you could make this whole thing, all this worry and all this, trepidation will disappear if you just make it a bigger fan effort. Have the fans do the voice acting. Have the fans do the panels. Have the fans do the music. Have the for fans, by fans, all fans. That's what it should be. All fans. I just don't see, I don't see the need to put yourself in jeopardy, especially when your heart is in the right place and you're trying to do something that's, cool and legitimate, and you want to spread the word about Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's one of those things where I don't know. You can't hear Ray Porter's voice as Darkseid on that little teaser that Lightcast put out and not be a little bit excited and think, oh my God, that's Darkseid, right? But at the same time, if you're like me, then you start thinking about it more analytically. You start thinking about it from a production standpoint. You start thinking about it from somebody on the other side. You start thinking about it from a studio perspective. And then all your enjoyment just inflates out of it because you start thinking about those kinds of things. Integrity 101, good to see you, man. He says Zach is back and he will direct Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, starring Ben Affleck. Zack Snyder's Justice League is relaunching the Snyderverse. What's up? What are we talking about today? Oh, well, we're talking about the Zack Snyder's Justice League motion comic. That's what we've been talking about. Kupi Malik is saying, hey, Resident Justice. Some random says here, I can't be respectful, Zod. It makes me so mad that they don't put the effort to truly demand accountability from a studio, but will put effort into a motion comic that will drive up subscriber count. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it like that. I wasn't thinking about it from a subscriber count perspective. I mean, that's a different way. That's a different way of looking at it. I don't know, man. You got me there. I really wasn't thinking about it like that either. I was actually just worried about them from a legal standpoint. I mean, that's the bottom line. I was like, you can't put something like that out and, keep poking the bear and not expect the studio to poke back. That's where I was. That's where I was at. I wasn't even thinking about the implications about a subscriber count or anything like that as far as popularity. They've got bigger issues. They've got things they've got to think about on a legal front more so than a subscriber count front. Is this thing going to even be allowed to be to be out online for more than 20 minutes? I mean, is this going to be something that's why I feel like they would almost, if they're doing it the way I think they're doing it, they would almost have to get permission from the studio and make it an independent project officially licensed by Warner Brothers in DC. That's the only way you can do it the way they want to do it and not face any legal consequences. Because if you just put it out there as a fan project, they're going to lower the boom on you. Plain as day. Warner Brothers doesn't care. They will lower the boom. It's just the reality of the situation. But if they actually get it officially licensed, if it's an idea that they pitched to the right people, and I mean, some of these people have connections. I mean, some of these people, they've actually talked to Zack Snyder. They know Deborah Snyder. They know. So some of these people have actually made connections. So maybe it's an officially licensed thing. And this is something that we're not privy to right now because we're just seeing, little images that are comparable to Jim Lee. Right? That's all we're seeing. We're not seeing that. We don't know the full story. I think I would like to do this at some point where I maybe bring Lightcast on a future ZodWriter show episode and interview him about it. Maybe he'll break it down and explain it a little more to me, because again, I think to do it the way they want to do it, the best route would be it to become an officially licensed product. And if it becomes an officially licensed product, some random, it's not going to be about subscriber counts, because the only way it's about subscriber counts is if it remains a fan-made project and you're just putting it on your YouTube channel or putting it online for clicks. But if it's an actually official licensed product where they go through DC, they go through Warner Brothers, they get the rights, they get the permission to do this particular project, okay, then it's not even about that. It would be officially released. It would become a product. It would hence be owned by Warner Brothers and released at their granting. So that's another angle that I've kind of taken with it in my thinking, because you can't do this as a fan project. There's limits to what you can do with a fan project. And so unless you make it an officially licensed product, I don't know how you're going to get away with being able to use Ray Porter and some of these other voice actors and whatever, they want to do. But I think if it's officially licensed, then they could use Ray Porter, because Ray Porter will have a contract. Then they can use a Ben Affleck sound-alike to come in and play Batman if they want. then they can use anybody. They can do whatever they want because then it's officially licensed. So I don't know. Just something to think about. Some random. Integrity One says, "Oops, my bad." The comic. Yeah. Kupi Malik says, talking about the Justice League motion comic and any potential implications. Zaystro says, "I do wish them the best and want it to succeed. I want to see more of the Nightmare. Just some things seem really sus about it, and I hope it doesn't cause any problems." Yeah. Again, that's what it's all about. You just don't want it to cause any problems. Like I said, I don't want to see anybody get in trouble. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I just want to be positive. I like to be positive. That's my thing. I try to be a positive guy. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I've always been that way. I try to be that way. And I try to carry myself that way through most of my streams. But occasionally I'll be passionate. I'll be angry. But I still try to be happy-go-lucky. So it's kind of, that's the thing. It's bittersweet in a lot of ways. Because, again, you do want to see him succeed. But at the same time, you don't want him to get in trouble. And it's just like when you see glaring things that, jump out at you. And there's all these red flags and you're just like, oh my God, I just hope that they did this right. I just hope that they did A, B, C, D, or E. That's why I think I need to bring Lightcast on a stream and, have interviews Lightcast on a future ZodWriter show and just have him break it all down for me because he'd be able to tell us all these things. I think that's what needs to happen. You need to get him on here, have an unbiased, interview. I can ask him all the hard questions and he can tell us what to expect and maybe go into a little bit of the process in terms of the legal ramifications of all this. And Zaystro says, "It just feels too early to try and finish Zach's vision so early and before we fully know if the Snyderverse will get restored." But see, that's where I don't think that's what it's about. I don't think it's about finishing Zack Snyder's vision. At least that's not what it looks to me. I mean, it looks like this is something that they're doing. It's a little project, but anything that anybody puts out, unless Zack Snyder is officially involved with this and is giving them scripts and is doing things like this, it's not going to be official. It's not officially restoring anything. It's a fan fiction. It's fans interpreting what Zack Snyder was doing with the storyboards. That's what it is. It's not an official continuation of the Snyderverse. It's kind of like an appetizer before a big meal. These fans are putting together something that's going to keep the Snyderverse in the consciousness of the public, saying, look at this, look at what Zack Snyder was trying to do here, just to keep it in the consciousness. It's not necessarily going to be as lofty as concluding Zack Snyder's arc. It's not going to be something like that. We're going to have to wait until they actually, we actually find out after the merger if the rumors of restoring the Snyderverse are anything other than rumors. So we'll see. But at this point, I'd say that's a little bit of an over. What's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like an overblown viewpoint of what they're doing. I don't think that their expectations are that high, to be honest with you. Because if you're actually going to try and tell Zack Snyder's entire arc in a motion comic, you got your work cut out for you. You've got a lot of stuff you've got to do. You've got a lot of things you got to tell, a lot of stuff you have to include, a lot more. It's just a whole lot of stuff. So I see it as a little fan project. I see it as fun. I see it as fan fiction. I don't think it's necessarily going to be finishing Zack Snyder's vision. That's what we have Zack Snyder for, to complete his vision. Integrity 101 says, "I'm completely out of the loop on this comic. I have no clue what's going on." Andrew Casale says, "They should have gotten Jim Lee's permission to use his art." Maybe they did, Andrew. Maybe that's the caveat here. Maybe they did get permission. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. There's some stuff in here that, like I said, we don't know about. We don't know everything, and that's why I'm always hesitant to lower the boom on somebody and be overly critical until I have all the facts. I don't know if they got permission from Jim Lee. I don't know if they got permission to do what they're doing. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But if they didn't, Andrew, and they're using his art without permission, and they're doing all these things without permission, and they're just hoping on a whim and a prayer that Warner Brothers isn't going to shut them down or go after them, that would be ill-advised, and I hope that that's not what they're doing. I truly hope that that's not the case. I've outlined several ways in this stream that they could go about it and not get into trouble. But if they literally are just doing it that way and just off the cuff, willy-nilly, just doing whatever they want and not getting permission and not caring and just hoping and thinking they're going to get immunity because they're doing it for charity, that's not going to work. Because the studio's not going to care. The studio's going to see it as an infringement on their intellectual property, and they particularly Warner Brothers takes that stuff really seriously. So I hope that that's not the case. Koopy Malik, Me Too Integrity, I have my concerns, but still wish them the best. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is about. It's about concerns. We all have concerns. Well, nobody's wishing for them to fail. Nobody's hoping that they get caught up in legal troubles with Warner Brothers. That's the thing. It's a cautionary thing. You don't want to see especially people you know, friends of you. You don't want to see them get in trouble. You don't want to see that happen. You're like, no, this is, they're fans. You don't want to see that. That's the thing, man. I don't know. And like I said, that's why I think that it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna become an independently, officially licensed thing. That's the only way that you avoid any kind of clashing with the legal system, because then you're covered, and Warner Brothers, you're covered then, and then you don't have to worry about it. So who knows? Maybe it's something they were able to work out because it's a charity thing. Who knows? Non-for-profit kind of helps them if they go about it the right way, but they still would have to get permission from the studio to make sure that they're not in violation of anything. Sil Abdul Inc., what's up, my brother? My good friend Sil Abdul Inc., my brother from another mother. They should have just been open about this not being original art. We would have never known it was not original if people didn't question them about it. Own it. Hope they turn it into something cool. Amen, Sil Abdul Inc. I hope that they turn it into something cool. Hopefully it's not negative. Hopefully they're not plagiarizing. Hopefully they got the permission. Hopefully it's not about tracing and just trying to get something out there. Hopefully it's not about clout chasing. We don't want it to be about any of those things. We want it to be positive. We want it to be good for the fandom. We want it to be good for the Snyderverse. And hey, any new Snyderverse, any content related to the Snyderverse getting produced, whether it's produced by fans or not, if it's done right, it's a good thing. Koopy Malik says, Sil Abdul Inc. Hey, dude, great video with Mikey. Just finished watching it. Koopy Malik, Sil Abdul Inc. does fantastic work. Wonderful videos. Him and Mikey Sutton, I swear to God, it's like the dynamic duel to me. I love those streams. It's great stuff. It's great to see it. And it continues. And Sil's just doing his thing. It's beautiful. I love it. I love being a part of Sil's streams. Sil is my guy. Honestly, Sil is just my guy. I don't know what else to say. Like, Sil's just on point. It doesn't get any better. Sills had my back this whole time. People that I thought had my back that didn't have my back, but Sil Abdul, this man has always had my back, and this is why I will always have his back. You understand? It's like there's people that you meet, that your friends, that you think are your friends, that you start to value as your friends and start to think that they're really your friends. But then when you realize that certain people that you thought were your friends really aren't your friends, and then you start to realize and you start to see, oh my God, these are people that are really, really your friends and have had your back since day one. And Sil is one of those guys for me. So I will always have Sil's back. And Sil Abdul says, Kupi Malik, thanks, my man. Arkham Gaming. For me, I'm very excited for the motion comic. I'm just a little worried that they can get into trouble by WB. Yes, you are echoing all our sentiments, Arkham Gaming. Ryan Rivera says, what's up, Zod? What's up, Ryan? Good to see you, man. Hey, Sil, how's the Hamadaverse Supergirl doing? I'm waiting for the Man of Steel prequel comic. Yeah, so am I. That would be a good, that would be a good project to do as a motion comic, the Man of Steel prequel comic. That's actually a thing. The Man of Steel prequel comic. That would have been cool to see as a motion comic. Dark Star. Hey, Zod. Hey, Dark Star. What's going on? Supergirl. Chi-Town Venom. What's up, ZodWriter? What's up, everybody? Ryan Rivera says, as an artist myself, I've done inspired pieces where I reference other artists, but I always try to make it my own. I understand, though, what they're trying to do with the motion comic. Yeah. I mean, it's clear what they're trying to do. I mean, you see what they're trying to do. I mean, they have the best intentions. I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing. I just don't want them to get into any trouble. And that's just the truth. Anthony, fire from Anthony. It's fire. And Supergirl, I think she just flew away. Anthony says Zod is speaking facts. Hey, I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to speak facts. I mean, I just want everything to be okay. I want everybody to be okay. Ryan Rivera says, but if there's any tracing or direct referencing from other artists or pieces, they should credit the original artist. Exactly. And Ryan, that's very easy to do too. You could do that, and then you just reference the fact and you credit. For example, you just credit Jim Lee, and they're good. That's another little thing they could do that would probably quell a lot of the criticisms that they're getting now, for sure. That's very good. Very good. I don't know, but why don't the mother boxes wake up after old gods? Why didn't the mother boxes wake up after old gods defeat Uxas? I don't know. Ask Zack Snyder. We guess got to ask Zack about that one. That's a good point. Wonder why that was. Agreed, Anthony. Zod spitting those facts. Thank you, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. Kupi Malik says, I think she is on Earth wandering. Okay, FA. Let's see. Hey, Zod, your streams are always cool and honest. I agree with your perspective on WB and how they've treated directors in the past. Yeah. I have my feelings about WB, and that's why I'm worried. That's why I'm so worried about them, because I know what WB's been doing, and I know how WB's been operating lately, and it's not good or positive when it comes to fans, especially Zack Snyder fans. Could be, although I'm certain they didn't come from the open pod in Man of Steel. It would put her being Clark's ancestor rather than cousin. Yeah. Hey, Dark Star. Baby girl is shouting you out. Gareth Evans, Deathstroke, McQuarrie's Superman plans, Todd Phillips, Black Label Ideas, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, and even Gotham Sirens, Rick F's Flash, Adam movie, all gone thanks to WB. WB has a terrible, terrible, terrible track record right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could all agree on that. Kupi Malik, It's Zack Snyder's story and interpretation of DC characters, so he can go with it. Who knows? Exactly. Daniel Martin says, "Hey Zod, hey Daniel, how you doing? Always love to hear what you have to say. Snyder's name has been ringing in people's ears for the better part of this year and the end of last year, and in a mostly positive way, in my opinion." Oh, I agree, and the studio absolutely hates that. The studio doesn't. The last thing that Warner Brothers wanted was for the Snyder Cut to be a success. They didn't want this movie to be released because I think they knew that it was going to be a success. You wouldn't have all this stuff. You wouldn't have all these things. We wouldn't be talking about this motion comic right now if not for, the Snyder Cut, right? I mean, again, the Snyder Cut, like you said, it's been on people's minds. It's been ringing in people's ears. Zack Snyder's name has been on everybody's lips every day since it was announced that the Snyder Cut would finally be released. Kupi Malik says, agreed, man. Amen. Katsuka says, time will tell. Baby girl says, exactly, Zod. Kupi Malik says, hey, Katsuka. Hey, Kupi Malik, how are you? Ryan Rivera, I think we all just have to be patient, to be honest. That's just me, though. Yeah, man. I mean, you don't want to trash on anything, and you don't want to speak negatively, and you don't want to be you don't want to be premature. Don't want to jump the gun. And I'm not, and that's the thing. That's why I'm not like that. I'm not somebody that's just going to jump the gun like a lunatic and start making outlandish accusations and accusing people of plagiarism, accusing people of this, that, and the other. That's not me. I'm not going to do that to people because, again, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they got the rights to do. You don't know what the plans are unless you were involved on committee when they were deciding how they were going to go about this project. None of us, at least that I know of here in this chat, were there for any of that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm speaking from an outsider who has some experience with fan films and projects and acting and things like that. I'm speaking from my own personal experiences, which is why I hope that they're doing the right things. Dark Star says, all we can do is wait. Exactly. Facts, Ryan. Exactly. Agreed, Ryan. W. Mears says, hello, ZodWriter. Great to be here. Great to see you, W. Awesome. Always great to have you in the chat. Katsuka, I'm a little beat. Zod, spitting facts as always. Man, Kupi Malik, you're one of my favorite people. You show up for all these streams, man. I am so happy to have you here. You're a good dude, man. Thank you so much for always being here, for always supporting my channel, always supporting my streams. I love it. I'm so thankful for all of you. This is beautiful. Anthony says fact. Katsuka says true. Some random says, I literally heard Matt say on a stream that it isn't a fan film. So if it's not, what is it? Like I said before, Matt and them keep moving the goalposts. Well, like I said, it's one of two things. If it's not a fan project, then it's an independent project. And the difference between an independent project and a fan project is an independent project would have to be officially licensed. Not in terms of the work itself. I mean, Lightcast and all of them, they could be doing all the work, but they would still have to get the permission from Warner Brothers. It would still have to become an officially licensed DC product if he's not calling it a fan project. If it's not a fan film project, you're not going to get away with it as an independent project, because now you're subjected to the studio coming after you. The studio could come after you either way. If it's an independent project that you didn't license, they can come after you. If it's a fan-made project that you didn't get their permission to do and you're using all their stuff and they don't like how you're using it, they don't like that you're using Ray Porter as Darkseid, they can come after you. These are all things that are valid, that are things that maybe, like I said, when I talked to Matt on the show, maybe Matt will be able to answer these questions, because, like, again, I that's my whole thing. I don't want to see anybody get into any trouble. Zaystro says, I see what they wanted to emulate with the art style, but they honestly could have went with any other style, and it also would have avoided all this controversy before it's even released. I agree. That's why I said, when I said we've got so many talented artists in the Snyder Cut movement, you could have pulled from any number of these artists to have them come in and do the artwork. But a lot of people in the Snyder Cut movement have burned bridges with other people in the Snyder Cut movement. So it's hard to say who would participate if asked and who wouldn't participate if asked. That's another issue that you have, because you don't know where everybody stands when it comes to the personal grievances that people within the movement have with one another, because there is a lot of that, unfortunately, and it still exists to this day. I don't get why people are attacking each other over this. If it's successful, it is successful. If WB takes it down, then WB takes it down. Just don't jump the gun and attack people. I agreed. I agree with you 100%. That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense to attack them, because only they know what they're doing, because only they are there. They were there. Only they were involved. They're the only ones that know. We can only go off of the images were being shown, the pictures were being shown that look similar to Jim Lee's style. We don't know anything. We don't know what they got the rights to do, what they didn't get the rights to do, who they got permission from, who they didn't get permission from. We don't know any of that until we get confirmation, until we hear it from, the people actually involved in the project. It's not wise to jump the gun and start attacking them for what they're doing or what they're not doing. I mean, I can sit here and present my ideas and say things that I would have done if I would have suggested if I was there. But ultimately, because I'm an outsider, I'm on the outside looking in, I can only go off of what I've seen, and I can only go off of what I hope, which is that they've done everything that they need to do to make sure that they won't get into any trouble. Koopy Malik, I'm good, bro. I'm just enjoying one of the best channels on YouTube. Sad Zod gets attacked for giving his honest opinion. Well, you know what? When people like you are here, following me, paying attention to all my streams every day, this isn't going to be a small channel forever. I can tell that already. And when I have people who appreciate my honesty and want to hear from me and want me to give legitimate thoughts on things, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to give you my honest opinions, my honest feelings. And that's why a lot of people don't like me, because I am honest. I am straightforward, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it or lie to you. If I feel a certain way, I'm going to come out and let you all know. And that's what you guys have come to expect from me. And that's what you guys will continue to get from me, because I am not going to steer you wrong. I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't understand, people that do live streams and be completely dishonest about everything, be completely dishonest with the people that actually participate in their streams. I'll never understand that. Like I said, I got to give props again to Belle Reeve for defending me the other night on her stream. Belle Reeve is amazing. Like, listen, I have so many things that so many times where I actually thought that certain people that I knew had my back and were looking out for me. And when I realized, a while ago that just wasn't the case, that, they never really had your back. They never really gave a damn about you anyway. That's the sad truth that you learn when you do this kind of things, this kind of stuff. You think you've met the right people. You think you've connected with the right people. You're vibing. You think you have a good chemistry. One stupid thing happens, messes the whole thing up, and people start treating you like the redheaded stepchild, and you're just ostracized for the remaining time that you're doing whatever you do. And it took me a while. It took me a long time to realize that to narrow it down to the people that I can really trust, the people that I'm friends with, that I'm close with, that I've gotten to know throughout the course of the Release the Snyder Cut movement, that I can truly relate to and truly go to and truly have a conversation with, and know that they're going to have my back no matter what. There's not a lot of them, but there are out there, and they are people. And I'm going to be honest with you, with Belle Reeve, I haven't known Belle Reeve all that long. I've known Belle Reeve for a little while, but Belle is one of the most real, most amazing people that I've met through this movement. She's incredible. And she is just 100% real and legit. And I'm thankful for people like her, because I know I'm thankful for her, because, a lot of times, you'll come out and you'll try to be honest. You'll try to give your perspective. A lot of times with me, I'll give my perspective. I'll say things and I'll get misunderstood. I'll be misinterpreted. People will take an example that I give of something and take it out of context and think that I'm attacking someone or I'm attacking something, when really a lot of times with me, I'm just trying to make a point. And a lot of times it ends up getting misconstrued or gets taken the wrong way. I honestly think that over 90% of the disagreements I've had with various people during my time in the Snyder Cut movement have all been based off of misunderstandings. I'm not even gonna lie. I could sit here and give specific examples of specific, interactions with certain people where things ended badly, and where I think that it was just under simple misunderstandings. And when people misunderstand you and take you the wrong way and don't care and don't feel like they have the time to, try to figure it out or try to talk it out, I feel like I'm one of the most reasonable people that you can meet. Because if you don't understand me or you have an issue with me, you can come to me and ask me what I meant by a certain thing that I said, and I will give you the answer. I will tell you. Like, I've had people come to me and say, hey, I had one guy that I'm friends with who sent me a DM on Twitter because he didn't like something I posted on Twitter a while ago. And he's like, hey, are you throwing shade? I think this is an exact quote. He said, hey, are you throwing shade? And I'm like, no, man, I'm not throwing shade at you. What makes you say that? He said, well, you said this, this, and this. And once I clarified what I was actually referring to and why I said what I said, he was cool about it and he understood. And that was the end of it. And it called it. And I think that that's what a good friend will do. If this person is really your friend and has your back, the person, if they see you post something or they're confused about something you said, they won't be afraid to send you a message and say, hey, Zod, what did you mean by this? Or what are you doing? I love when people do that, because I do people the same way. I'm like, hey, what did you mean by this or whatever? Again, because misunderstandings will happen. And when you have misunderstandings, it's best, to get it cleared up right away, because you don't want resentment. You don't want to be taken the wrong way. You don't want people to think that you're, to think one thing when you're not even really referring to them. And that's why I think it's important, to always be that way. And if people who really care about you and people who really value your friendship or value what you have to say, they will take that time, if they're confused by something you said, and literally ask you, hey, what'd you mean by that? Or, hey, were you throwing shade? Hey, were you doing this? Hey, what'd you mean by that? There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. It's like I said, it's awesome to, it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to be disrespectful. And it's nice to see people actually take the time and come out and actually want to try and hash things out with you if they have a misunderstanding with you. And Redo says, face it, the mainstream hate Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse. The NWO want to promote nihilism, and they fear the Snyderverse for daring to have any meaning. Okay. Well, people are going to be people. Some just tad to be more of an annoyance, It's bound to happen even to the best of us. Exactly. People nowadays in mainstream hate anything with true profound meaning and just want to adopt nihilistic perspective on life. The loss of all meaning. Life is just a big joke, like the MCU. I'm just saying, I'm just staying out of all this drama. That is a very wise statement right there. And that's a very wise thing to do. I don't like drama either. You know, that's why when I like to come on and comment about things, I like to give an honest, open perspective about stuff, because drama's not my thing either. You know what? When drama comes to you and you don't really, you're not really bringing drama to you, and you don't really want drama, and you're seeing it and it's happening all the time. It's like the best way to confront drama is to confront drama from a positive front, to look at it and say, and just say your piece on it, and to just be like, hey, this is what's really going on. This is what's happening. This is my part in whatever this is. This is how it's being perceived, and this is the reality of how it is. And if you can break it all down in that way, you'll find that, dealing with unnecessary dramas is not really all that difficult, especially when you have a unique approach and perspective to dealing with it. Kupi Malik says, redo. That's an interesting point. Darkstar says, WB are a bunch of wankers. I couldn't agree more. You're right, Kupi Malik. Interesting take there. Redo, you just summed up the entire MCU. Yeah, absolutely. It's how they promote more consumerism, corporate indoctrination. If everything means nothing, they then just consume and consume forever to fill the void. No biases, no meaning to anything. Redo, like the early George Lucas movie, THX. THX was all about that. There was a thing in the movie where it's all about consume. If you haven't checked out George Lucas's THX, the original THX movie, highly recommend it. It's exactly what you're saying here. Exactly. Oh boy. Redo, yep, happens everywhere, to be honest. Bat in the Sun did have Michael Madsen play a role as a cop in their fan film Batman Dying is Easy. Yes, Bat in the Sun did have Michael Madsen, and I can guarantee you one thing. Michael Madsen had to sign a contract, and they had to get permission to use Michael Madsen. Ryan Rivera says, I admit it. Dean Cain does look like Shazam. Yeah, I think he would have been good in that fan film if it could have went into fruition. Fun fact about that fan film: WB shut it down. Just saying. This motion comic is connected to the Snyderverse, so probably WB doesn't even bother with it. Well, they'll bother with it. They'll bother with it if it's breaking laws and using their intellectual property without their permission. That's why I say don't poke the bear, because you poke the bear will poke back. So that's why I'm hoping that they dot their I's and cross their T's and did all the right legal stuff. WB leaked everything. Zack Snyder's Justice League related. I don't like Dean Cain. He's a crackhead. I'm not really a big Dean Cain fan either, but I think it would have been cool to see him as Shazam. The Truth 31 says WB are not in a giving mood. Maybe the fans will be as well when it comes to spending coin for these films. Amen to that, Truth 31. Oh my God, man, I love your takes. I always do. I want Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. Anthony, don't we all? It depends on who's in charge, Zod, and what type of mindset they have. All these fan things, movie, game, will thrive or take a deep dive depending on how good relations between fans and IP. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You got to have good relations. And that's what's leading me to believe that they've built up some good relations because the people involved in this have dealt with Zack Snyder, have dealt with Deborah Snyder, have made some, have some connective tissue. So there's ways that can lead to negotiations and different things being put on the table for things like this to happen. But I mean, I'd be surprised if it's a straight up fan project that they didn't get any approval for, and they're just going willy nilly doing whatever they want. I don't think that's what they're doing, because you have to look at all angles. You really do. You got to look at everything. I don't like him either. I think you're talking about Dean Cain, right, Ryan? The Truth 31. I already made up my mind. I'm not doing anything to WB. And the Truth 31 says, "What's up, Amershi?" And wow. Okay, hold on. Hey, Truth, how's it going? Sorry, Truth. What's up, Darkstar? Fans productions kept getting better and better. Look at the fan project for DBZ, Metal Gear, and the last one, Batman Dying is Easy. Well, Aaron Schoenke, who did Batman Dying is Easy, has been doing fan films for, I would say, over a decade, even longer. And Aaron, he's done so many projects. He definitely has connective tissue and a working relationship, because he stays within the boundaries of whatever the boundaries are that the studio set for those particular films, for those particular things. He's a fan, and he's a budding filmmaker. So he's doing these projects, he's following his passions, but he's also following the rules. Kupi Malik says the studio goes bonkers over these fan projects, but at the same time, they don't have anything to offer us regarding their material. That's just absurd. Yeah, because fan projects are basically fans responding to a studio not giving them what they want. Usually, that's usually what it is. It's either fan projects fall in two categories. It's either what I said before, or it's more of like a tribute, because they love the material so much they just want to do their own thing as a tribute to what the studio has given them. And that's what, and that's what we're seeing, more and more. But again, fan films have gotten to the point, they've evolved, Kupi Malik, over the years, where we're now at a point where, you can get some very, very professional looking fan films that will even rival some independent films and even some big budget feature films. There's a lot of that. And that's why it goes back to the example I gave earlier about Robert Meyer Burnett's Star Trek Axanar film that he was doing. The production level of Star Trek Axanar was such a high quality production that it rivaled what CBS and Paramount were doing for Star Trek Discovery in terms of just scope and scale. And the story was off the hook. And that's when they stepped in and said, no, we're not going to allow this. So again, fan productions have evolved. Fan films have gotten bigger and bigger over the years. And that's the problem with technology improving. You're gonna have fans that can compete with the real stuff, and the studios do not want that, because now you're cutting into their bread and butter. Film Gob, what's up, my brother? Film Gob is another legit, real dude. I love you, man. I'm so glad you are here. This is awesome. He says the good side of the movement is not so united from what I'm seeing. Couldn't agree with you more. Parademon 94 says sounds illegal to me. Parademon. I'll tell you, Parademon, your takes too. You're another legit guy where you just say what's on your mind, and everybody loves you for it. I love you for it. So thank you. And thank you for being here. You're awesome. Rhea says, afternoon, everyone. Afternoon to you too, Rhea. So glad you're here. Sup, Truth. Hey, Gob. Parademon44 says, I disagree. Stop giving people platforms who don't deserve it. Okay. All right. Well, you know what, 44, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'll entertain this coming from you. I mean, maybe we don't need to hear from anybody involved with the motion comic, right? Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need to hear. Maybe we just wait it out and see what they do and see how it comes out, and not give anybody a platform to come on and speak it out. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know necessarily that, you know, Lightcast would come on here and would be dishonest and just tell us anything. I mean, I'm sure there are legalities involved with the motion comic. There's things that that he would be qualified to say since he's involved in the project. But I don't know. Maybe Parademon44 has a point. What do you think, chat? What do you think about it? Lewis Cox says, oh, some people jump in here from Saggy Melon stream. All right. Hey, guys and girls. Hey, Lewis. Rhea. Hey, Lewis. Damn it. Hey, Rhea. Integrity 101. Oh, this comic sounds like yet another sign promoting to Justice League 2 happening. If it's keeping the Snyderverse in the public eye, that's good news. Sean Franklin says, what's up? The Truth 31 says, the reason we do YouTube is because we want some kind of recognition. I'm sure Clout isn't part of the reason, and that's fine. Just don't bullshit me and say it's not. I'm very excited for the project. Excuse me. The reason we do YouTube. Oh, wait. Did you put this twice, or are you saying something different here, Truth? Okay. The reason we do YouTube is because we want recognition. I'm sure Clout is part of it, and that's fine. Just don't bullshit me and say it's not. I wish them luck and excited to see what they do. Well, that's a logical way of looking at everything. That's cool. The Truth 31, bro, I want Clout too. Just kidding. The Truth says, of course. Redo, yeah, you may be right. The Truth says, hey to Rhea. Katsuka says, yo. Katsuka says, Zod, way back again. Yes, way back again, because I'm trying to get through all the comments, and you know what that means. Even Gotham producers couldn't use Batman's name on the show. I don't understand how us fans can use all the names in Justice League without WB taking any action. Yeah, it's a good question. It really is. It's legitimate, and that's why I say, they got to have some sort of thing. There's got to be some sort of deal in place, because if you don't work it out with the studio, they're gonna shut it down. That's just the way that it is. They're not gonna just leave it up if you didn't get permission, if you didn't if you didn't follow the rules and do what you were supposed to do. They're gonna knock you down. That's what they do. You make a very good point. They also couldn't use the Joker's name and as well, but kept calling him Mr. J. I'm back. Oof, what did I miss? I don't know, Koopy Balak. I had responded to some of your stuff up earlier, but that just goes to show how far behind I am. I'm not that far behind now, though. I'm about 10 minutes behind in terms of chats, comments, as opposed to where I am in real time. So it's not too bad. What the hell happened yesterday? Huh? I don't know. Redo needs to comment more. I agree. Integrity. The Suscast WB doesn't have the balls to take the motion comic book down. Actually, it's not about balls, though. It's about the internet. It's about the intellectual property, and they will take it down if they feel like it's infringing upon their property. They will take it down. Trust me on that. If Emmerich somehow survives the merger, I'll never support WB. I agree with that sentiment. Integrity, don't worry. Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 is inevitable. Sweet Sonia G says, hey, Joey. Hey, everyone. Hey, Sweet Sonia G. Good to see you. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. Late night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring Sweet Sonia G, episode number 9. Yes, we've been doing 9. We've got 9 episodes so far. It's going to be amazing. Koopy Malik says, Sweet Sonia G, hey there, sweet lady. Good to see you. Sweet Sonia G says, hey, Koopy Malik. Dune trailer drops this week. I'm excited about Dune. I hope Dune turns out to be a good movie, and it's not just a riff on what David Lynch already did. Some random says, Zod Screen Rant just published an article talking about the potential plagiarism of the motion comic. This is the kind of negative press our movement doesn't need. I agree, some random. Screen Rant. I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised Screen Rant would. Well, not really. Never mind. The Screen Rant article also insinuates that all the funds aren't going to AFSP. Oh, wow. This is news to me. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we will have to get maybe we will have to get Lightcast on here. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows, guys? What do you think? Should we go with what 44 says and just let them do their thing and whatever? It's like they're don't give people a platform who don't deserve it. Or should we bring on Lightcast one of these days and get him to, explain what's going on with this thing? Open up, tell us a little more about it so we know. Kill these rumors once and for all. Let us know what's going on with your motion comic, bud. I don't know. I'm just a guy with a platform. I don't know. Hello, ZodWriter. Hello, Showcast. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Rogues Gallery discussions. Supporting Gun Suicide Squad is like supporting a new Justice League film from a Marvel director in a world where they still refuse us the Snyder Cut, much like the Ayer Cut still. Is Jason going blonde for Aquaman 2? I have no idea. I don't know. Sweet Sonia G, hey, what's up? Koopy Malik, hi there. And Sweet Sonia G says, Joey, you're just about caught up. Yeah, I knew I would eventually get caught up. This is, it's like I talk so much. It's like I'm a running water spout of words at this point. So it's kind of very long-winded individual. Hey, Prakash. Zod, would you rather want a Man of Steel 2 or a Batfleck solo movie miniseries? I really want the Batfleck solo movie miniseries. I think Man of Steel 2, if it's going to happen, would come in time. But I honestly think that the Batfleck thing is more pressing at this point. I mean, because they've already got like a story, they've got a script, and they've got so much that they could do. Everybody wants that movie or that miniseries. So I don't know, man. I got to say the Batfleck thing. Sweet Sonia G says, Prakash Swain, hello. And TJ, what's up, TJ? Good to see you. Well, it's Nelson Mandela Day, so I'm him. I'm going to be calm and respectful at ZodWriter and everyone. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I try to be. I try to be calm and respectful. That's why I say it's okay to disagree, but it's never okay to be disrespectful. So I'm saying you don't have to be disrespectful. You can be critical. You can question things, but you don't have to be disrespectful. If Jason is going blonde, I don't think it'll suit him, but that's just my opinion. And Sweet Sonia G says that's sweet. Sweet Sonia G. Check out Jason Momoa's latest Insta post. It hints him going blonde for shooting Aquaman. Well, is he going to go blonde and do the short hair thing? I mean, because, people have been kind of, been giving Zack Snyder flack for that for years too. Oh, Aquaman doesn't have the short hair. So I don't know. Maybe Momoa will go more comic book accurate, huh? I don't know. I hope Jason Momoa is just adding blonde tips, not going full blonde. Hi, Sonia. There's some recognition. There's something here I need to say. Rhea, I really want you to meet Sonia. Sonia, I really want you to meet Rhea. This is a big moment happening right here. I want the two of you to actually meet on a live stream. You guys are both excellent, wonderful people, and I think that I want that stream to happen. Rhea, if you are available tomorrow night, we do Sonia and we do a live stream together. We do the late night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring Sweet Sonia G. We do it live at 10 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern, excuse me, 10 p.m. Central. And it's the two of us. It's just the two of us talking about various things, various topics. It's our thing. It's kind of just a show that we've been doing. We're 9 episodes in as of tomorrow. And if you're available and you're interested, I'd like you to come on and be our guest for that show, because I really want you and Sonia to meet. I think you guys are awesome. Both of you guys are awesome. And I'd love for it to happen on that show tomorrow. So if you're free, if you're available, no pressure or anything, Ray, if you're available and you can jump on for a few minutes or whatever, that would be awesome. But I just wanted to put that out there since you guys are, interacting in the chat. I think it's cool. I want to see you guys together on a live stream. It's kind of a, it's a goal of mine. So yeah. I would rather save Man of Steel 2, Supes versus Black Adam for another Zack Snyder Justice League 3. Cavill would be a true Boy Scout by then. Yeah. Resident Justice, what's up, RJ? He says, by the way, Zod, Fist of the North Star has been fire. Thanks for giving me that first volume. You are very welcome, RJ. I'm always happy to indoctrinate new Fist of the North Star fans. I want as many people as possible to know about Fist of the North Star, because to me, it's my favorite Japanese property of all time. It's the thing that it's the franchise that I love the most, and so any chance I can get new people into it. And you're a good young dude, RJ. And I knew that you would like it. Listening to you talk about the various type of manga and things that you're into, I knew it would kind of be up your alley. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad, and I hope you are willing to read more volumes and get into it. Check out the manga. Check out the anime. Check out the movie. It's great stuff. Fist of the North Star is wonderful. And Sweet Sonia G says, "Hey, hi, Rhea. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about." James Gunn, how many people here would go on Twitter right now and make dozens of pedophilia jokes after you get fired? How many would immediately put butthole jokes in the trailer of their next film? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that integrity, but again, I'm not a fan of James Gunn. I don't like James Gunn. Never have, never will. So you're preaching to the choir here about James Gunn. I'm not a James Gunn. I am not a James Gunn fan. James Gunn is, ex-nay as far as I'm concerned. As Rhea says, Sonia is awesome. Rhea, you're awesome. And I also agree that Sonia is awesome. I have some of the most awesome friends in the whole world. I am so thankful to know all of you, because you are just all such amazing people. It makes it so great, being able to come on here and do these kinds of streams and have so many good people that I know and that I love being around, and just it's so great. That's what I'm saying. It's all positive. That's why I can't really be a negative guy. I hate negativity. And I feel like when I'm surrounded by so much positivity and so much goodness, I have to look at things from a much more positive and happy, in a happy perspective. I've got every reason to be happy. And Sonia G says, sounds great. Oh, yes, my idea. Yeah, I hope that happens. That'd be awesome. Nowadays, DC comic books are changing to Zack's Aquaman style. Well, so they would essentially be going backwards if Jason Momoa puts the blonde in his hair and actually cuts his hair for the movie. I really respect all the wonderful and powerful women in this fandom movement. Oh, there's a lot of great people in this movement. Wonderful women, wonderful guys, everybody. I mean, there's so much. It's fantastic. Rhea says, I will do my best to swing through tomorrow once I'm done with work. Thank you so much, Rhea. I appreciate that. We do the show twice a week. So if you're not able to make it on Monday, we also do it on Thursdays. So we do it on Mondays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Central. And we're gonna probably end up doing that show forever because it's so much fun. Kupi Malik says, out of topic, I'm really looking forward to the Metal Gear Solid movie with Oscar Isaac as Solid Snake. I wish they would have made Onimusha and Takashi Kaneshiro. You know what? The Metal Gear Solid thing, this is the first I've really heard about it. I must be living in a cave because I didn't even know they were making that movie. But that sounds cool. Hey, listen, Metal Gear Solid's awesome. So a movie like that would be great. And Sweet Sonia G points out that Saggy Melons made an appearance on our last show. She's a sweetheart. Saggy Melons is awesome. Saggy's another great person that I'm glad that I know, that I'm glad that, I consider a friend. And I couldn't say enough positive things about Saggy either. Saggy's another one who I'll always have her back because I know she's good and she's always cool. So she says, oh, thank you, Sweet Sonia G. And RJ says Saggy is cool. Yes. It turns into a love fest for Saggy Melons, and it's very well deserved, I do have to say. Koopy Malik says, hi, Saggy. And Sweet Sonia G says, hey, Saggy Melons. Saggy Melons, yes. RJ says, Zod, you've got to check out Chainsaw Man. I think it would be right up your alley. RJ, thank you. You're not the first person to tell me that Chainsaw Man is awesome. I'm going to definitely check it out. Saggy Melon says, hey, how are you, Sweet Sonia G? Saggy Melon says, I sadly got to get ready for work soon. Oh, my condolences, Saggy. I'm sorry to hear that you got to get ready for work right now. Oh, my God. Well, I hope you have a great day at work, Saggy. I hope it's easy on you. Rhea says Saggy. Saggy says Rhea. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you've got people that really, really love and respect each other. You have all these, shout outs back and forth. It's the most beautiful thing you could see in a chat. It shows how good things can be when people are getting along and people are on all cylinders. It's great to see. And Sweet Sonia G says, take care, Saggy. Double MJ says, sup, Zod. I agree. Kenshiro is indeed a badass. Yes, I love Kenshiro. Fist of the North Star all day for me. Koopy Malik says, have a great day, Saggy. Saggy Melon says, Sweet Sonia G, not going just yet. I'm stalling. Saggy, I don't blame you. Saggy Melon says, I just want to stay home today. It's raining and gross out. Yeah, it's been raining here like the last 2 days. It's been really rainy and dreary the whole weekend. So, I totally sympathize, Saggy. Sonia G is laughing at Saggy Melons. Saggy Melons, hello and congrats for hitting 1K subs. Saggy Melons says thank you. RJ says, can't you call in sick, Saggy? You must have a sick day available. Saggy Melon says, we need to get Zod to 1K because I'm interested. I'm invested into the choking now. Yeah, well, that will happen. I know that I will eventually get to 1K with all these beautiful and wonderful people supporting me. I appreciate it, Saggy. Yeah, it's great because, I just try to have, positive content, have a reason for people to come see me. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people say I have controversial takes. I don't know. Do I? Am I controversial? Do I have controversial takes? I don't know, people. I don't know. Showcaz. Well, good for you. And yeah, friendship to Saggy, but I beg to differ from my dealings. I won't go into anything further. RJ, no, we don't get sick days. Plus, I can't leave my boss hanging. Neon Sci-Fi, yeah, Oscar Isaac post a vid doing CQC training for Metal Gear Solid. It's looking good. Showcast says gets tiring when people who are fans of the media but not the original content think they can dictate dictate what's what. That's the problem with fandom today. Resident Justice, it's been storming like crazy the last couple days. Yes, it has. Yep, can't argue with that. Manga and anime is facing the same problem that American comic adaptations had until recently. The special effects and people who know the material. Sweet Sonia G is laughing at the choke out Zod hashtag. Yes, choke out Zod. Yes. Showcaz, I agree. And it looks like I've completely caught up with the comments finally. Showcaz, are you looking forward to the upcoming Gundam live movie? I didn't know they were doing a Gundam live movie. Wow. Gundam live. Huh. That's interesting. They're doing a Gundam live movie. Wow. Well, I think no one should dictate anything, but they should be free to give opinions as long as they are respectful. Amen to that, Saggy. That's all I've been saying. That's been my whole credo forever. Just be respectful, Well, at least we agree with something, Saggy Melons. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you know what? I thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciated this. What I wanted to do, I just, like I said, just wanted to give my thoughts, air out my thoughts on this whole topic about the motion comic, being a little bit critical, but being respectful at the same time. I don't want to, like I said, I didn't want to, speak out of turn about things I didn't know. So I was just presenting, the various, concepts and giving my thoughts. And so hopefully it came off as a positive stream and that nobody will come to me later saying that I was, that I was being negative or they start taking my stuff out of context, because that does happen a lot. And that's not what I was trying to do here. Depends on who's doing it behind the scenes. Look what happened with Christian. Yeah, and Space Battleship Yamato. Yeah, I remember Yamato. Yeah, so it's a collaboration between Legendary and Sunrise Zod. They're making it. Don't know when it will come out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Saggy says, okay, work time. Love you all. See you soon. Later, Saggy. And one of my all-time favorite people. I know I've given her shout-outs this entire stream, and I'm going to do it again now because you're here. Belle Reeve, thank you for supporting me. I love you dearly. You are amazing. Thank you so much. You're awesome. And it just warms my heart to see you when you come in the chat. You are so awesome. I appreciate you so much. It's just great. And that's what's up. I've just been talking about this whole motion comic thing and, and just getting my thoughts out there on this and, trying not to be a lunatic about it, right? That's always the key. Speak positively, be happy, and, just give constructive thoughts. Unlike a mutual of some of the people in here, I talk to them directly, not bring the mess or broadcast when he is not around. I'm still having a bash of heads with. Okay. Sweet Sonia G says later, Saggy. And Koopy Malik says, I feel you, Showcaz. Those titles could have been better made. Wow. Oh, there's so many of you still here that I don't want to leave just yet, because there's so many of you here still, so many of you that just got here. Things trending in India right now. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse and Pegasus. Have you seen the Flash Reddit leaks? The rewrite is real. WB's completely desperate. You know what? I don't care about the Flash leaks. Matter of fact, I don't care about any leaks. We'll see the movie when the movie comes out, and I'll make my assessment then. I don't really care. I'm tired of speculating about stuff like that, because WB is a hot mess. That's the truth. They're a hot mess. So, I think before they start trying to go after people for showing pictures and leaking stuff and doing all that kind of crazy stuff, they need to get their house in order before they do anything. And I mean, and that goes for the motion comic thing too. Leave the motion comic people alone and just, get your house in order, WB, because you suck. You're a terrible company. Horrible. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And Belle Reeve says, of course, Zod, thank you. You're an awesome dude. You are. I can't say it enough, Belle. Anybody that has anything bad or negative to say about you is going to face the wrath from me, because I have nothing but positive and great things to say about you. You're just so amazing. I didn't know you were going live today. I didn't know I was going live today. I actually was not planning on going live today, because I do the show with Sonia on Mondays and Thursdays. I did a live show yesterday. I wasn't planning on doing another live stream today, but I felt like I wanted to kind of address my thoughts on this Justice League motion comic thing, and I didn't want to wait, because I didn't want it to carry over and become a big topic tomorrow on the show I do with Sonia. So I was like, I'll just address it today and get it all, get my thoughts out there. And then, and then that way it won't be something that, it gets addressed too much tomorrow. It's like when you go live action or CGI, they're scared of their own material, much like the comic adaptations of American comics before 2000s. Yep. Those leaks drive me crazy. Yeah, those leaks are ridiculous. I don't even think that's what I'm not understanding. It's like, if you don't want YouTubers or bloggers or whatever, or you don't want people to post that stuff on social media, get a tighter ship and make sure that the stuff doesn't leak. That's my problem, because once it leaks, everybody's going to see it. So it doesn't make any sense for them to, go through all that trouble. And, now you're crapping all over little YouTube channels. You're taking images down from vloggers. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a good look, but WB is not a good look, period. So there's nothing to say here. At this point, it's like Warner Brothers is not a reputable company in my eyes. So that's why I wouldn't want to mess with them, because I feel like they're a desperate company, and they're about to do anything because they don't know what to do. The state of DC is a complete disaster. They know this. And so this is another reason why I get scared for the motion comic people, because I feel like WB may go after them just to make an example out of them, because they hate the Snyder fandom so much, and they hate Zach, they hate us. So, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know, with WB, it's like, I feel like WB is like this desperate dog that's had all of its legs but one shot out, and it's desperate to do anything, and it's just trying to survive. And that's what it looks like with WB right now. That's right, I did it. I called WB a wounded animal. That's what they are right now. They're a wounded animal. Brecka Swain says, Belle Reeve. Hi, Belle. Thanks for following back. Yeah, isn't Belle awesome? Seriously. I can't say it enough. Belle's so awesome. Showcaz. God, when are they going to get rid of this Hamada and Emmerich guy? I can't get excited until I see stuff happen for real. I'm with you, Showcaz. Hamada and Emmerich need to go. That's first and foremost. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that that's like Zaslav over at Discovery has this planner, and like the first two things for day one, once the merger's complete, and it just says right at the top, goodbye, Toby, goodbye, Walter. That'd be great. Koopy Malik says, but for the least, the Pat Labor live action is quite good. Pat Labor, yeah. It was Pat Labor was pretty good. I won't disagree with you there. I think Pat Labor was unique. It was unique. Nice live action. Integrity 101. Put simply, WB sucks. But the fact that Johns and Berg is still working for WB shows nothing is going to change. Oh, God. Sweet Sonia G says, I said the same thing, Belle Reeve. Don't watch that Koopy Malik. I had it, never got around to watching it. Lost my copy. Belle Reeve says, LOL. Belle Reeve says, no problem. Showcase says, ouch. When's the next Trinity stream? You haven't done one in a while. Yeah, we haven't done a Trinity stream in a while because Syl has got Syl's schedule with Mikey Sutton has been, all over the place. So he really hasn't had time to fit it in. Like we had it where it was planned for a certain day every 2 weeks. It was going to be me, Syl, and Rhea. It's just now because of the scheduling being so unpredictable with Mikey Sutton. It's like Syl doesn't know when he's going to get on with Mikey. So that's what it is. It kind of complicates things. But I'm sure we'll be back and be doing doing more Trinity stuff soon. I was actually thinking of asking Syl if at some point maybe he would want to do Trinity as like its own little thing, even if it was just like a half hour stream where we just did it at some, scheduled time once a week. And we just did like a 30-minute stream. I think that would be cool. I wouldn't mind. I mean, we could host it on my channel. We could do it on Syl's channel. Heck, we could do it on Rhea's channel. Rhea's starting to stream now. I mean, I don't know. There's all kinds of things you can do. So I don't know. Hopefully sometime soon, Belle. That'd be cool. I definitely miss it. I love streaming with Rhea. I love streaming with Syl. So yeah. Did you watch the movie I recommended? Public pressure is how things change when everything is swept under the rug and the public is dumbed down enough to buy the excuses. Hook, line, and sinker. The issue is the docile public. Yeah, Integrity. That's what has me so worried about the whole Snyderverse. It's like everybody. This is why I got into so much trouble with all the comments I said about James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, because I feel like the public is like sheeple and they're all supporting the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie and forgetting about the Snyderverse. These same people are the ones that claim to be all in for the Snyderverse, but they're supporting James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So it's showing the studios that the fickle public has changed their mind again. It's okay for us to keep doing what we're doing. So what's the leak this time? The Flash and Captain Carrot and Ambush Bug team up with Keaton. You know what? That's probably it. That's probably the thing. Rhea says, Belle, the Trinity is alive and well. I had to return to work and we're in a busy client season. I haven't been available to stream as much. To be honest, I don't really care for some of those leaked shots, but it's whatever. I'll wait for the film. Exactly. That's why with these leaks, it's the leaks themselves are ridiculous. WB should just tighten up their grip on leaks, tighten up their ship, get things right at home. You won't have these leaks. Also, hey Belle, hope you're well. See, I love this. Oh my God, three of the greatest people. Belle, Rhea, Sonia, all you guys are fantastic. Oh my God. Its sequel was due to release this Friday, but now it's postponed thanks to COVID. Yeah. Integrity 101, they got public pressure, but all WB did was move Berg and Johns into different companies contracted to do exclusive work for WB. So it was for nothing. Wow. Sorry, man, I forgot about that. What's the movie again? I'll check it today. And Belle Reeves says, hey, Rhea, and yes, y'all need that stream. I need that stream of y'all. Yeah, we all need it. That stream's wonderful. DC fandom this year is more important than last year's, as it'll decide what projects except the Batman deserve our attention. Koopy Malik, KGF. Rhea says, I love streaming with Sil and Zod. They're the best. Oh, God, I love you, Rhea. I do. I love streaming with you, too. It's so great. It's so great that I feel like that Trinity thing is like the greatest thing ever. That's why it's like my pinned tweet on Twitter, because it's like I felt like that's such a monumental thing of just pure greatness that like I can't not think about it. It's always so much fun. Okay, man, I'll search for it after this stream. It's on Prime Video. Wow, this conversation, you guys are just having your own conversation. It's so cool. I only started actively commenting because of Zod and Mikey Sutton. Other than that, I just be silently watching like I've been doing since 2016. Oh, Showcaz, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love it, and like I said, I've said how much of a friendship, how much I value Sil, and I can't say it enough. Like, he's a guy that's always had my back, and I'll always have his. And I just feel like anytime we stream together, it's great stuff. It's magical. I love his streams with Mikey Sutton. His streams with Mikey are great, and that's what it's about. I every time you see those two get together, it's cool because you never know what's going to be brought up. You never know what's going to be said, and I love having the opportunity to jump on whenever I get a chance. It's great stuff. Me and Sil, ever since we met, we just hit it off as great friends, and we've been great friends ever since our early days with the Four Nerds. And like I said, we've never stopped being friends. And like I say, any time or chance we get to stream, it's always golden. Showcast says he needs to sort that out. Trinity is a good thing. The more diverse the content, the quicker the channel grows. I agree. I 100% agree with that. That's why I say I would love to see Trinity become its own, like, more than just a weekly segment. I'd like it to just be become like a weekly, like a little show kind of a thing, like just a little live stream, even if it's just like 30 minutes. But it's something that's dedicated and happens once a week. That's what I'd like to see because it's cool. It's fantastic every time. TJ says Trinity stream should be on Mondays. Showcase wasn't enough pressure. Yeah, Integrity, you're right. Not enough. You should do that. Take turns on each other's channels and do a Trinity stream. I wouldn't mind that. I'd be open to that idea. I'd love to do that. I wouldn't mind hosting it either. I think it's a great thing. And again, I can't say enough good things about both Sil and Rhea. So I don't, I would be open to any and all opportunities to stream with any of these great people. Showcast says even for them to do it in the first place, integrity, but that's what companies do all the time. They only get rid of people when the stockholders start complaining and withdrawing money. Kneel before Zod. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that. I love the kneel before Zod thing. So cool. Showcase. Heard from Mikey that Hasbro are planning to put their toy line into live adaptation. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to see Mask. Mask would be cool. I don't know why they've waited so long to do Mask. If you like Zach's cinematography, you'll love KGF. The trailer will tell you enough if you don't believe me. I'm going to check out KGF. I'm actually going to check that out too. I'm going to look into that after the stream. You guys keep talking about it. I prefer the comic version as it's much more darker and tells how Mask got started, a tale of betrayal and murder and revenge. Oh, sounds interesting. It would be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see, that's for sure. Imagine if the Flash movie took inspiration from the CW Flash seasons 1 through 3. I love those words. Took inspiration. I love that. I see what you did there. My keyboard keeps messing up. Sorry for the bad typo and missing letters. It happens. No problem. The public is sheeple. It's embarrassing. Following release, the Snyder Cut movement was literally like getting a degree in spotting fake news. Take Cavill has been leaving the role for 3 years. Yeah, for real. Season 1 at TJ, not seasons 2 or 3. Wow. WB took out Ray Fisher and Rick Famuyiwa from The Flash and just trying to fill the gaps using nostalgia related to Keaton. Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Trust me, more of seasons 2 and 3. Oh yeah, it's a good one. Seeing how Matt Tucker is pissed with Joe's arrogance and how Brad's hocus pocus similar to the lanterns like construct. Because you, Mikey, are proper comic anime culture fans, but too many are comic book fans masquerading comic book movie fans masquerading as comic fans and getting the basics wrong. This is why we ended up with Collider, who ruined the fandom. I agree with you there. They and they alone are responsible with the shits we have on YouTube today. They alone got the tiki torches against Snyder and the bias crap for Disney. It was the UK comic, not the US version of the comic I read as a kid. Mask UK comic was great. Okay. And, guys, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I've been going for almost 3 hours now. I thank you guys very, very much for being here. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. You will see more of me tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube, where me and Sonia will be together for a late night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring sweet Sonia G. Hopefully Rhea will be able to make it, and we'll have her as a special guest either tomorrow night or Thursday night. Smash that like button, subscribe. If you guys want to see more, it really does help the channel if you subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be super cool. Sonia's hashtag choke out Zod. If I get 2,000 subscribers, Sonia chokes me live on stream. 1,000 subscribers. It's going to be interesting. Showcase says back in the 80s. Good day to you, sir. Thank you very much, Q. Always a pleasure to see you. I'm so glad you came in the chat. So much of that is that in this community. So much love in this community. Absolutely. And once again, thank you to you, Belle Reeve. Thank you so much. I'll always have your back. Thank you for having mine. You're awesome. Showcase. Wait, did the UK one, Matt Matt Tracker. Same in the cartoon. The one I see, Matt Tracker, is black. Okay, you guys are talking about the comic. Okay. Wow, I miss all that time kicking myself. ZodWriter. Bye, Zod. Thanks, ZodWriter. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys again. Again, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I will see you guys tomorrow night for late night with ZodWriter featuring Sweet Sonia G. And Belle Reeve says, bye, Zod. I'll check you and Sweet Sonia G out tomorrow. Thank you, Belle Reeve. And hey, Belle, if you're available and you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to jump on as well. The more the merrier. We could have a big party. It could be me, you, Sonia, Rhea, Belle. That would be a dream stream. That'd be a lot of fun. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you very much. Now I know I've been talking too much because my voice is getting hoarse. See you guys later. Bye, everybody.